Hi, everybody. I'm Jason Hull, the founder and CEO of DoorGrow, the world's leading and most comprehensive coaching and consulting firm for long-term residential property management entrepreneurs. For over a decade and a half, 18 years, we have brought innovative strategies and optimization to the property management industry. At DoorGrow, we are on a mission to transform property management business owners and their businesses. We want to transform the industry, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change perception, expand the market, and help the best property management entrepreneurs win. Now, let's get into the show. So my guest today is Vanessa Anderson, the CEO of ShowMojo and Tenant Turner, which I was totally confused about. So we'll get into that. And we're going to be chatting about AI today. So Vanessa, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jason. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to chat today.
All right. So what we're going to be chatting about is how AI is reshaping the property management industry with more than 3 million doors leased through their platforms and the rapid adoption of AI leasing agents. Mo and Tina.
Yep.
What's Mo and Tina?
Well, Show Mojo, so Mo and then Tina we don't have rights to the namesake, but you can infer Tina Turner.
Oh, okay.
So our
Tenant
two
Turner.
AI agents who handle all your leasing needs.
Mo and Tina. Got it. Okay. So Vanessa shares where AI is making the biggest impact, where the human touch still matters, and how her team is approaching the next generation of leasing technology. So, for those of you that are paying attention, if you're curious about the future of AI in property management, you probably don't want to miss this conversation. All right. So, let's get into it. So, first, I would love to get into your background, Vanessa, so we get a feel for who you are. How did you get connected to entrepreneurism or being a CEO, connected to these businesses? Give us a little bit about your background and your journey.
Yeah. So I really grew up in an entrepreneurial household, and that is like truly my roots. My dad owned a family law firm, and then he also had a portfolio of rental units.
Yeah.
So my sister is now an attorney, and I'm in real estate. But I grew up working for him. So he had me manage his rental units, run his books, help with terms. And that's really what got me interested in real estate. And also, I think now, working with SMB PMs, that culture like really resonates with me, and that's who our customers are, right? They are small business operators. Some of them own multiple businesses. They're very scrappy, very entrepreneurial, and that is the environment I was raised in. Um, but really, since then, I started my career on the institutional ownership side. I worked at two real estate private equity funds, and then used business school to pivot into tech. And so I have been kind of at that intersection of real estate and technology for almost 15 years now, either deploying technology in real estate services businesses or building technology companies.
All right. Nice. Okay, cool. So now how did Tenant Turner and Showmojo end up kind of together here?
Yeah. So ShowMojo and Tenant Turner are both jointly owned. We took investment capital from Greater Sun Ventures in early 2024. And so since then, the two businesses have been under the same umbrella.
Hmm.
So the benefits of that are these are two businesses that, competed directly for over a decade.
Yeah.
And they do have similar solutions. But I think they have significant personality differences, is what I'll go with.
Hmm.
And now we can work collaboratively between the two companies to ensure that our customers end up in the solution that best fits their company's needs,
Yeah.
and where they'll be most successful.
Okay. So how do you see this? How do you pick
Yeah.
which company would be a better fit for somebody?
So I think if you're going to boil it down to, simple phrases, essentially, Tenant Turner leans towards simplicity and ease of use. And so it really is, it's kind of Apple versus Android. It is simple, super easy to roll out, and it will be incredibly reliable and work in the background to make sure your leasing operations are streamlined. ShowMojo is more customizable. So, if you really like to tinker, if you like to add your own flavor to templated emails and white label things, and also if you have a little bit more operational complexity, ShowMojo could be a better fit for your company. So ShowMojo does handle some use cases that are a little outside of the norm for an SFR operator. They do. They lean more towards multifamily. We have about 45% of our inventory is multi, and also handle more complex operations. So if you're using a combination of in-house and third-party agents, if you have many calendars you need to sync in order to do your touring schedule, ShowMojo can handle that complexity, and is a fit for organizations that have a little bit more of that operational complexity or desire to customize.
Okay. So give me the short 2-sentence version. Go with this one if this one with that for those listening.
Yes.
It,
If you are an SFR operator who, just wants your technology to work in the background, just simply work, and you do all scattered site SFR, Tenant Turner is a great fit.
okay.
If you have a mixed portfolio, if you have a more out of the box team, any levels of customization, then ShowMojo is going to be the better fit.
Got
But
it.
we're
Okay.
always happy to talk anyone who's interested in learning through and compare the two platforms in detail, and help you determine which one is the best fit.
Got it. All right. So if you do a call with one company, will they send you to the other if you're not a fit for that one? Or where's the entry point?
Yeah, so actually, all of our sales reps are being trained on both platforms so that they can easily sell either.
Got it. Okay. Cool. Which one do they get a better commission on?
That's the same.
Perfect. That's a good
Yeah.
answer. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. Yeah, that's really interesting. I didn't know this. I didn't know. I've had both of the founders on our show here on the
Mm-hmm.
Dorgo show. So, and now they're sort of married. Okay. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if Pete and James would want to be called married, but
uh,
yes, sister companies for sure. And it's been really fun to work collaboratively with both companies, bring them closer together, find efficiencies, and take things that one have done really well historically and utilize that at the other, right? So we get collectively
yeah.
stronger together.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Very cool. So AI is changing a lot of stuff.
Yep.
It's getting competitive out there. Like everybody is now vibe coding and building their own software. Is this a concern for Tenant Turner and ShowMojo? And how's AI impacting your business and making changes? There's
Yeah.
so much is going on.
I
Where
think
should we start?
AI is impacting everybody's business, right? And whether
Yeah.
you are an operator or a technology provider, this is a huge systemic shift in technology.
Yeah.
Um, and there's no one who is not impacted. So I think when you think about property management, though, leasing is often the first use case that PMs are moving towards to utilize AI. And to me, that's really exciting because we are a leasing company and we focus on providing best in class leasing technology. So to me, this opens a huge opportunity to change how we've done business. So
Mm,
historically, we had worked through more structured automation, right? A lot of if then statements.
yeah.
So, if they click this link, then they schedule their tour. But instead, AI opens up the door for that to be more conversational and, based
Yeah.
on natural language. So, before, if you went off the path, right? If you're like, well, I clicked the link and I'm not ready to schedule a tour. I want to ask a question. I want to ask about their pet policy. That question would go to the leasing team. But if you're on Zillow at 10 p.m., that question is waiting until the morning to be answered when your team is
Yeah.
available. And so instead, what AI does is it opens the door to keep that conversation moving at any time of day. And so rather than waiting, from 10 p.m. till 9 a.m. the next morning, um, the AI agent can answer those questions on your behalf and continue to move the conversation along and hopefully result in a booked tour. Um, so that could mean that they are in your unit tomorrow instead of hearing back from their question tomorrow, right? So that's days on market saved and
Yeah.
odds of you signing a lease quicker as you move those prospects forward.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Um, okay. I'm going to read a quick word from our sponsor real quick and we'll get back into it. So, our sponsor today is Flusos. So, what happens when your best property manager goes on leave or leaves for good? Does your business keep moving or does everyone stop to ask, what do I do next? You've invested in software. Software stores information. Flusos guides the action of your humans. So Fluso it tells your team not just how to do the work, but what needs to happen next. So your business keeps moving, your team stays consistent, and your clients receive the same great experience. Even when your most experienced people aren't there, visit Flusos at Door Grow Live, which is coming up in October, and discover how workflow intelligence can transform your business, or check them out at Flusos, FLUSSOS.com. Software stores information, Flusos guides action because your business should never stop when someone does. And it's cool software. It's kind of like Lucid Chart or Flowchart software and Process Street or checklist type of software had a baby. So it's very cool. And we use it internally at DoorGrow to manage the team. And it's the first process software I haven't had to be in. All right. So back to AI. We're using a lot of AI in our own business. I'm starting to get my team all Claude accounts so they can start getting more done, doing co-work and stuff like. I have co-work working right now in the background while we're talking, setting up Facebook ad campaigns and via the MCP and doing stuff
Yeah,
like this.
great.
So, how are people able to now integrate or leverage AI in relation to the leasing stuff besides just turning it on and having a chat with people? What controls do they have?
Yeah, so the product that's live in the market is the chatbot, right? So that is your first layer of defense or first layer of response to
Yeah,
your prospective renters, asking all your, answering all those questions about the space, about your policies, and moving them forward through the funnel. So, where we sit today, we launched in April, we're over 120,000 conversations, and we're
wow,
seeing 21% of conversations are ending with a booked tour. So that's showing you that there were these hurdles where they weren't going to move forward until they heard from somebody
yeah,
with that booking. And so it really is expanding your funnel and moving prospective renters closer and closer to a signed lease, which right now we see leads at an all-time low. They've been basically in a free fall since 2022,
yeah,
um, and continuing downward. So being able to capture that additional lead generation is huge right now when the
yeah.
leasing market is so
Maximizing it.
soft. But other ways that you can layer in AI and what is on our roadmap is really in terms of recommendation engine. So we sit on a proprietary database, over 3 million leased units.
Wow.
I think at ShowMojo, or maybe combined, it's 40 million showings on our platform and over a
Mm,
billion customer interactions. So that's,
wow.
text messages, emails, phone calls, etc.
Yeah.
So taking that proprietary data set and turning it into recommendations so that our customers are better off with us and make better choices with us than without us. And I think that is something that can't be vibe coded, right? So
Yeah.
how do we utilize that data to our customers' advantage? and enable them to make the best leasing choices possible and to optimize their leasing outcomes.
Got it. Yeah. So yeah, we are seeing this that there's a lot of people are consolidating. They're moving in with family. The economy's tightened up a bit. We're seeing, there's more inventory in some markets and less renters. It's getting tough out there a little bit. Rent amounts are, um, dipping because of all that inventory, especially in
Mhm.
areas like Florida, stuff like this. So it's getting hard. They got to have every competitive advantage they can get in order to get tenants into these properties to get them
Yep.
rented out, or the whole system kind of falls apart, right? When you're managing
Yeah.
property. So your system is helping to maximize the amount of uh, you know communication, and this is usually one of the most difficult things to invest financially communication wise for if they're paying people to talk to people during for the that are prospective tenants and leasing. I've had people on my podcast say that's the garbage of phone calls in the past, and it's the
Yes.
garbage of
I've
conversations.
I've had a property management assistant tell me that he declines all his calls. And because essentially, which
Yeah.
his boss was not there. But essentially the questions he is getting are so repetitive and so mundane. And so I think,
Yeah.
something you mentioned earlier was, when do people come into play? And I
Mm,
think um that's that balance, right, between AI and your human staffing. And
yeah.
figuring out the right balance of that, I think, will be key in winning in the future, which is a world with AI. And I think what AI can do is eliminate that mundane for you so that your property management assistant does not feel the need to decline all their calls, right?
Right.
They're not being asked over and over and over, what is your security deposit policy? What is your pet policy? Those are answered by artificial intelligence. Those are easy, right? Those are from reading, really.
Yeah.
And so those can be responded to. And then that means that their inbox drops from 300 unreads to 10. That means their phone calls drop from 100 to 5.
Yeah.
And the ones that are remaining are the ones that matter the most for customer service, because they're ones that require a judgment, and that your staff can make that call, provide excellent customer service, and really shine in that environment, right? Whereas when they're bogged down with the mundane, those 5 or 10 might slip through the cracks and not get the
Yeah.
attention that they really need and deserve.
Yeah, when you force good team members to do really mundane, repetitive stuff over and over again, you may lose good team members. It's
Mhm.
not a great place to be. And you got to keep them in their plus signs, I say, the
Yep.
things that they enjoy doing that they're the best at. And I think leveraging AI allows you to have your team members that are good with people to actually have more human connection and interaction rather than
Absolutely.
reducing that. So now there's, everybody's starting to implement voice agents, stuff like this. Are Mo and Tina now talking to people verbally, or is it largely still through text, or how does this work?
So right now, Mo and Tina are both web chat and text message, and
Yeah.
we do see almost 90% of activity happen via text,
Yeah, I'll
right? Because
bet.
the web chat sits on the property manager website, and most renters kind of bypass that, right? They're finding you on Zillow or on apartments.com, and
Yeah.
then using the tour now button or the apply now button to instantly connect. And
Yeah.
so most traffic doesn't go to the property management website. And
Mm,
so that means that the vast majority of those conversations are happening via text message. Um, we have not yet gone into voice. We do have a product called Live Answer or Ultra, and that is a call center. So essentially, staff augmentation that we offer. So any spillover that is not answered by the AI in the core product can be answered by our leasing line as well.
real humans.
Real humans, yes,
Wow, those are so rare nowadays. That's amazing.
yes.
Real
Oh,
humans? Those sound
mm.
expensive. So,
So
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I mean, people would, I think, much rather have interactions with humans. Personally, I would, right? So, yeah, that's awesome.
I
Okay.
think if you're going through, you're going through an automated call answering service, you're going through the
Yeah.
schedule now, the qualification questions, all of that, and you
Yeah.
still really want to, you're still pressing zero, right? Getting to the operator. Like
Yeah.
you want to talk to a human. I think there's
Yeah.
definitely a lot of great use cases for voice AI, but I
Yeah.
do think certain, certain prospective renters, they just want to talk to a human. They just want to get through to your leasing team or the call center and talk to a human. And I think there's still a use case for that as well.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I would think so. I would think so. So what do you feel like then is the future of leasing? What's next on the horizon?
Yeah, I think the key with what happens to leasing and who is successful moving forward. I think more than ever, um, shortening your essentially lead to lease time
Mhm.
is um, becoming increasingly more important. I would say it's always been important, but even more so. You always need to provide your prospective renters with a clear path, right? They need to know what has happened and what is coming, and continually push them forward, because any lag in communication is an opportunity to lose them to a competitor or to lose their attention. So, really, that first 5 minutes after inquiry is the most important window, and being able to capitalize on that um, is incredibly important in what will lead to a lease. We see that
Yeah.
65% of prospective renters rent with the first company to respond to them.
Wow. Yeah, that's significant. That's the
Yes.
majority. That's more than
Yes.
half.
It's wild. It's like, how do you be the first one to respond? Right? That's essentially that's the winning recipe, is to be the first to respond. And unless your team's working 24/7, I think you have to have some level of automation or artificial intelligence to effectively do that.
Yeah. People working the late shift, get off, and they're like, "I gotta find a new place." They're like, it's middle of the night,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
Well,
people are looking when they're looking.
and the
And
same goes with touring, right? Do you do accompanied tours or do you do self-guided? And we
mm,
see with self-guided, 18% more tours happen after hours and on weekends than they do
okay.
with accompanied. And there's the selection bias, right? Because your agents are only putting on their calendar that they're free from 9 to 5 and select evening
Yeah.
and weekend hours. And so what it's showing you is that 18% of prospective renters would rather tour in the evening and weekends. So that means
Oh,
if you're forcing them into business hours, they either will abandon that property and go somewhere else, or you're starting off on the wrong foot because you're essentially putting them in a position of hardship, right? Maybe they are
yeah.
hourly workers and they actually take a pay hit in order to go tour their next apartment.
Mm,
And so by if you're in a market where self-guided makes sense, you're just going to open your funnel that much more. You're going to meet your prospective renters where they're at, where they want to be, and you're starting off that relationship, you know, with choice in mind, right? With what their preferences are, and starting that relationship off in a really positive light, which in a renter's market, which we are clearly in right now, that is a huge way to win.
yeah, normally in the past, we would recommend that our clients do open house style showings, so it just reduces their workload, and it creates a perception of scarcity because there's, you know, 20 or 30 people walking through and during the
Yeah.
same half-hour block, they're like, "What? We gotta get an application in on this place. This is popping. This is hot." So, and usually we would recommend they do one nighttime time during the week and one weekend time so that people have a chance to come. And usually for a lot of units, historically, for a lot of our clients, they would just do one showing in the week, one showing in the on the weekend, and they could get the place leased out. And that's still working in a lot of areas. So
Yeah. I think it depends on what market you're in, because there's
totally.
certainly, big winners and big losers right now. And actually,
Yeah.
we are in the process of preparing for our 2Q data talk right now, which will be in August. And there we're going to go through and split by region. We'll do South, Midwest, East Coast, West Coast. And you
Mm,
can see the dynamics of those markets that overbuilt, post pandemic from 22 to
yeah.
25, and how soft they really are, what their leads per listing are, what their average days on market are, versus markets that are more supply constrained and their dynamics look so different.
Yeah, I
I
bet.
just recently did a cut of Chicago area data, and we only have 6 weeks of inventory. The market's so tight that when I looked at leads per listing, which
Mm,
is, the whole time it's on market, it was dropping. And I was like, well, the market is so hot. Why are leads per listing dropping? It's because they're only on market for 14 days. So you
yeah.
truncate your leads, right? So you just stop accepting leads. So when I looked at week one, how many leads do you get over time? It was still
Yeah.
going up, right? So the lead volume was very strong, even though when you look at the leads per listing number, it was basically the market
Right.
is
Total
so
leads
hot.
was down, but it was
The
because it was
market
getting
is so
rented.
hot that leads per listing look low, right? So
Yeah. Interesting.
big winner markets, and then there's a lot of really soft markets. So when we look at our national data, the market looks soft. So there's enough of those markets that were overbuilt that they're dragging down that average.
Mm. Which states do you think are winning places for investors right now then?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, well, I think there's two different stories, right?
Yeah.
Because there's for investors and then there's for current property owners, right? Because
Mm.
prices have gone way up. So finding an investment opportunity based on current market price compared to leasing velocity are two different things. But I
Yeah.
think, the data we collect is on leasing velocity and days on market. And you're going to find the Midwest and the Northeast have been the big winners, right? Very supply constrained, continued high demand, continued population growth, especially the more affordable cities within those regions.
Mm.
And you're seeing the South, is in particular the Southwest, be very soft.
Got it. Interesting. Okay. Well, cool. Anything else we should talk about the future of AI in
There's
general?
so many things to talk about for the future of AI. I mean, um, but I
What do
think
you guys have
overall,
your eye on as
um,
far as the future of AI?
yeah, I think the key here is, you know, what partners do you want in your, you know, to be working with through these incredible changes in technology, and what makes one provider more advantageous than another. I think that's what operators need to think about. Um, so, being in the market for 15 years and 13 years respectively, ShowMojo and Tenant Turner have expertise in the leasing space, and taking that and applying it in this new world with AI can be incredibly advantageous, right? Using those 3 million leased units as a learning lesson and as something to leverage in an AI model and unleash for our customers, um, can be a great data moat for customers to benefit from. So I think when you're looking at your technology providers, leasing or otherwise, access to proprietary data sets should be a key lever that you keep in the back of your mind. Um, in terms of should I vibe code a solution, or am I
Mm,
better off
yeah.
with a provider?
So there are some leasing providers popping up that are claiming to be AI centric and AI first, and
Yeah.
they don't have the history of Tenant Turner and Showmojo. Did you want to address that or maybe touch on your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think, healthy competition is always a really good thing, right? So,
Yeah.
um, the Tenant Turner and Showmojo were really the only two players in our space, in that, our average PM is 250 units under management.
Yeah.
And we were the dominant players. And I think having new entrants is actually really exciting. It pushes us to do more. It pushes us to innovate. It pushes us to think about what is the future of leasing, because we want to be the leasing platform of choice for the next 10 years. And so, I welcome healthy competition. I think there's a lot of companies doing exciting things, and that pushes us in turn to do those type of things as well.
Okay, cool. I love that. So, you've got Tenant Turner, you've got ShowMojo. There's all these different property management software that your clients probably use: Rentvine, Propertyware, et cetera, Buildium, Appfolio. So, how easy or difficult has it been to integrate with all these different platforms? And I know the everybody has been talking about APIs, and it's been such a big deal to have APIs in the past. Now we're hearing MCPs, with AI, and being able to connect something like Claude to these tools, or to get your softwares to talk to each other, or to get one tool to get the stuff into maybe Tenant Turner or ShowMojo. What's kind of happening in that area for you guys?
Yeah. So on the PMS side, we are integrated with all the largest players in the space. So
Yeah.
Buildium, Appfolio, Rentvine, Rent Manager, Entrata, Yardi, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
They have been fantastic partners to us for a long time. So many of them we've been integrated with for over 10 years. And we continue to work with them on a very regular basis to enhance our API feeds. We just recently launched our two-way integration, our two-way sync into Rentvine. So we're the only leasing platform that has a two-way sync back into Rentvine. So your lead information gets pushed back.
Oh, that's cool.
In
And you say
general,
which one? Both?
oh, Tenant Turner and ShowMojo is following soon.
Okay, very cool.
But I think like data ubiquity, data access is hugely important. And, I think all your technology providers should be allowing you access to your data. So we just enhanced our API feed at Tenant Turner to be more vibe code friendly or AI friendly, right?
Yeah.
More open and accessible. And I think that is going to be a key. If you try to lock people out of their own data, ultimately it will prevent them from making choices in their business that they want to make. And so they'll leave. And I think, as a technology provider, we think of ourselves as one of many tools that your business would use. And we want you to be able to make those decisions freely, have your data pass between your other providers and us, and work the way that you want to work.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, that's the future. I think is going to be everybody's going to be able to build their own, Frankenstein of tools and systems and things to make it exactly the way they want it.
Yep.
And then
very
it's going to be
customized, right?
very customized. And it's going to be then the question's like, what do I want and what's out there, and trying to figure out how to piece things together. So, yeah. So very cool. Love that you guys have made some cool strides with Rentvine. What do you feel like then is anything else you want to talk about the future of what you see coming? One of the things and maybe you can comment on this, one of the things I've noticed is we've kind of gone from first to AI revolution. That was kind of the first stage where, oh my gosh, AI is new and everybody's trying to chat and prompt and figure stuff out. And now we're learning about agents, and there's so many everyone's creating software. And I think we've kind of graduated from the revolution to AI slop. We're now into AI slop. And now anybody can create anything, and all the social media content's fake, and there's fake influencers and fake models and fake this and fake news, and anybody can create anything that looks or sounds amazing. And so now there's this question of what's real and what is. I mean, I'm sure somebody could vibe code agents to create fake rental listings, or whatever, and scam people. So we're moving into this world of AI slop and trying to figure out what's real. And I think the secondary effect from my perspective is that human interaction and human contact and in-person relationships are going to matter even more, because otherwise it's going to be difficult to know what's real. how do we validate what's true and what's not, or what's
Yeah.
just a claim or what's hallucination?
Hmm.
So any thoughts on
So
that? I don't know if
I
that
think
affects your tools,
there's
but
yeah, I think there's two things from that. So one, listing fraud. You mentioned that. You're right. It is a huge problem, and it is something that is becoming increasingly easier to create. Is fraudulent listings on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, even on the ILSs, and
yeah.
it's really market dependent. It's become very rampant. So we partnered with Property Shield, which is a great technology provider. They scan the web for essentially the likeness of your listing and get
Oh,
lookalikes removed. So they'll know where your listings are posted and where it's authorized. And if they find the listing posted on unauthorized sites, they'll get it taken down. So that
nice.
is a huge value add in terms of preventing listing fraud, which can result in squatters, can result in property damage, and really just like an incredible headache for PMs.
Yeah.
Um, so you're right, AI. That's the negative side of AI, right? I think in terms of the AI slop, right, and the human layer. You're right. It's really noisy right now, and there's a lot of new providers, and everybody has their agent and their chatbot. And right now, it's looking, for some providers, it can be a very fragmented tech stack, right?
Yeah.
I think some of that's just going to happen with maturity, right? We're gonna
Mm.
we're gonna work through that. They're just like in, a .com boom, right? There's going to be some businesses that cease to exist and some that are the big winners. And I think that'll play out over time, right? And
Yeah.
getting all of your data into one centralized place instead of having it fragmented in many different AI solutions is going to be a new
Yeah.
challenge and something that we'll work through over the next couple of years. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I do think the important thing and the thing to keep in mind when deploying AI is, how do I use AI to elevate my team, right? Not to eliminate your team. It's
Yeah.
how do I improve their job satisfaction? How do I elevate them in the customer experience? How do they look better and provide more value? And I think if you keep that in mind, you will enhance those in person um, communications and experiences. And that's where people connect. And that's where they, you know, grow in terms of loyalty to your brand, satisfaction with your brand, et cetera, no matter what service you're providing.
Yeah. I agree. Cool. Well, Vanessa, it's been lovely having you here on the Door Grow Show. Appreciate you hanging out with us. So, if somebody's interested in connecting with your companies, where should they go?
You can book a demo at tenantturner.com and hello showmojo.com, and we can provide links in the comments as well.
Perfect. Awesome.
You
And
can
thanks for
also reach out to me on LinkedIn.
all right. Connect with Vanessa on LinkedIn. So, all right, it's Vanessa Anderson. They can search for you on LinkedIn. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Thank you for being on the show. All right. So, for
Thank you, Jason.
those, yeah, absolutely. So, if you are watching this and you feel stuck or stagnant and you want to take your property management business to the next level, reach out to us at dorgo.com. If you would like a free training and on how to get unlimited leads for free, text the word leads to 512-648-4608. Also, join our free Facebook community inside the DoorGrow Hub. You can just download the DoorGrow Hub app in the App Store, DoorGrow one word hub, and just go to doorgrowclub.com and that will get you connected to our free community. And if you want tips, tricks, or ideas and to learn about our offers, you can subscribe to our newsletter by going to doorgrow.com/subscribe. And if you found this even a little bit helpful, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it. Until next time, remember the slowest path to growth is to do it alone. So let's grow together. Bye, everyone.